Hey everyone! So much good come follow me this week. There's some really good things. This is the last week before we get to the martyrdom, which I'll probably just cry the whole week through. And we're fast approaching on Christmas and heading into the Old Testament, so it's a good time to start preparing for that too. But let's get straight into this. This is 133 and 134. Now 133 is not in chronological order whatsoever. This comes right after section 1, which was done as the introduction. This is when they were going to print the Book of Commandments. Section 1 was the introduction that they wrote, even though section 2 and that were written before that. So this is written 1831. Now, so this was supposed to be the appendix, except that more revelation came and more things happened, and they just got tacked on the end and kind of grown. I think the last one that got added was the official declaration that family proclamation maybe is in there. Yeah, because we're going to study that. But they just add those things on at the end. So there's probably more to come as well. But at this point in time, this was the appendix. This was their planned printing. So this is actually, as I said, 1831. Now section 132 that we just finished in is in 1843. So you can see there's quite a bit of difference here. So put into mind when you're reading this, sort of go back to where you were at the beginning. Kind of a nice way to say, we're going to sort of finish up around here, look back where we started. And this is very apocalyptic language again. This is meant to, if you think about it as an appendix to a book, after you've read the book and it explains all these different things, the appendix then sort of sums up and gives you another, so do you get the point of the book? So this is kind of what this section is, in a big way. And a lot of reading this section will require some knowledge of the Old Testament and some of the New Testament. It requires knowledge of the Bible, because there's things that are mentioned in here and you're like, gosh, that sounds familiar. Actually, it applies to that particular section of the Old Testament. Or you need to know a little bit about what John the Baptist did, what John the Revelator's done. You need to know a little bit about who Isaac, Abraham, and Jacob are to make sense of this. You need to know who Lot is and his wife, who look back at Babylon, because that comes up as well. So if you've got any questions about any of this and you're like, I don't know who to ask me. If I don't know, I'm going to ask some really, really smart people and we'll get back to you. But it's a really good section to read and study. 134 is interesting too. Kind of goes with the times that they were having and very aptly fits into the times we're having right now. But first of all, I love that in verse 1 it says, hearken, O you people of my church. And it's like Lord's just saying, hey, yo, listen up, mates. And then we're going to look at verse 4, because I just love this message, and it's repeated throughout Scripture and continues to be repeated at every conference, every fireside, pretty much everything we go to has a message of this, and yet many of us still ignore it. It's a bit sad. So verse 4 says, wherefore prepare ye, O my people, sanctify yourselves, gather ye together, O ye people of my church, upon the land of Zion, that ye, upon the land of Zion, all you that have not been commanded to tarry. So some of them, at this point, were told to stay where they were because they needed to build up the church there. But it's another warning to gather, right? To prepare and gather and do everything that you need to do, whatever that looks like. Now, in this time, we're told to gather into the stakes because that's where the safety is. And we're going to talk about that a bit later, about how we get safety in our stakes and increase those stakes, because that is also mentioned in here. But 5 is also really good too. Go ye out from Babylon. Call your solemn assemblies, in verse 6. Speak often one to another. So there's things in there that talk about this. So prepare. We're told to prepare, to sanctify ourselves, to gather together, to leave Babylon behind, leave that world behind, don't look back, be clean, call our solemn assemblies, so have our church meetings, have our conferences, and speak together one off to another. And it's just, that is the way that we find that spiritual peace we're after. That is the way that we get through all of this hardness. And we have been told, encouraged, and exhorted over and over and over to be prepared. It is so much better, enjoyable, easier, more peaceful if we prepare. This looks different for everyone, of course. Remember, it's physical, spiritual, and emotional preparation. It's not just being physically prepared. because then you're going to get hit spiritually or emotionally. You've got to be all of it. It is everything, the whole thing, all of it prepared as best you can. You're not even going to be 100% perfectly prepared. I have food storage. It is certainly full of holes, and I need more of this, need more of that. Can't get this right now, can't get that. We can't eat that. Still have rice that I can't eat, but I'm keeping it anyway just in case I need to feed someone else. You know, those kind of things. It is by no means a perfect situation, but if we do what we can, it is certainly better. You can liken it to going on holiday and preparing for a holiday and how much better that is, like a road trip if you prepare it. The spontaneous ones are a lot of fun, but they also involve a lot of chaos and a lot of, they're the kind of things that we usually do when we're younger. And it doesn't matter if we, forget to take a change of clothes, because we'll just live in the same ones for 3 days and deal with it. That's not something I could do anymore. Those kind of things, I used to look good without makeup. I'd be okay with that. Now I'd just be like, yeah, I'd still do it, but I'd be like, So I would have more fun if I prepared. I would enjoy it more if I prepared. And that goes along with life as well. The most we can prepare for life, the better it's just going to be for us. This year is, if you've been following me for a while, or if you're new here, hi. Good to have you. Both my husband and I have had major surgeries, and in preparing for those, I prepared not only food, but we prepared spiritually and physically. Tried to keep as fit as we possibly could, made sure we had the medicines that we needed, the appointments with doctors booked, backup support, all the things that we could think of, especially because we're in COVID lockdown right now. While I was in hospital, we knew that was a possibility, and it was. I had to take food with me. I had to figure out how am I going to clean the home and cook when no one can come into our bubble, right? So we had to prepare as best as possible. And I'm still catching up a bit on tidying up our house and getting things right again. But it's okay, and if we hadn't prepared, it would have been disastrous and we would have been miserable and not as recovered as well. So there's a lot of ways you can put this into examples, but the point is we are told prepare, 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 and yet we ignore it. In a lot of ways. A lot of people just simply ignore it, or I'll do it tomorrow and put it off. Don't put it off. Prepare. Every little bit will count. Every little bit will make a difference for you. So how are you prepared? Right? How are you prepared? I've got a long way to go. Physically, I would not be prepared for a whole lot. But spiritually, I'm pretty strong. And as far as like church, like food storage and having things in the home, yeah, I'm pretty good there too. As I said, it's not perfect, there's holes in it. Mentally, I'm working on it. I'm about halfway. I deal well with a lot of things, not with everything. So, how are you prepared? Think about it. Where's the weak spots that you need to shore up and make better? And how are you preparing? What are you doing every day to prepare? When you go grocery shopping, do you get an extra something? Do you, are you reading your scriptures every day to spiritually prepare? What are you doing? And how can you make that better? Because, every little bit, again, will make that difference. Now, President Eyring, he said, the way through difficulties has always been prepared for you, and you will find it if you exercise faith. So if you're thinking, I can't prepare with this, I don't know how to prepare for that, it's there. The way is made forward for you. And we'll talk about that again in another insight later. Third one. This is the first one. If you exercise that faith, if you can find that relationship with Jesus Christ, if you reach out and say, I need your help me get this, it'll be there. It'll happen. He'll let it happen. He'll make it happen. He will show you how awesome he can be, and that he is. So, yeah. So prepare. All right, going on over time already. I will see you for the second one shortly.